Hi, Tom from bkmnutrition.com, and today I want to talk about, is it better to have big meals or small meals when you're trying to lose weight, lose body fat, or get into shape? Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, I ate lots of small meals and I eat little and often, and advising other people to eat little and often in order to lose weight. And it's actually been said so many times, it's become almost an urban myth that you have to eat little and often in order to lose weight. But is that actually a fact? Is it something that you have to do? Can you lose weight by eating, say, 3 bigger meals in the day? Now, I'm a research-based or evidence-based practitioner, so I use science and evidence as well as my experience in the field working with people to inform my practice. So I looked at the studies on this, at the research, and there was actually an interesting study that was done where they gave people the same amount of calories per day. They just split it over different meals. So we had one group who had, say, 6 meals and one group who had 3 meals, but they had the same total calories in the day. Now, what happened? They both lost similar amounts of weight. Now, here's the interesting thing: is that people always talk about, people always talk about stoking the metabolism and keeping the metabolism fired up by eating small meals through the day. Now, the logic for that is sort of, you can understand, it sort of seems pretty sound. If you keep putting food in through the day, yes, your body's going to digest that food, so you are raising your metabolism slightly when you eat that food. It's called the thermic effect of food, and I've talked about this on other videos. And thermic effect of food is the calories you have to put in order to get food out. So when you eat food, you've got to use calories to digest the food, to process the food, and get the calories out of the food. So, and for protein, carbs, and fats, there's different levels of thermic effect of food, but as a sort of an average, we talk about 10%. So if you ate 200 calories, you would burn around about 20 calories on average to get those 200 calories out, which means that you have a net of 180. Excuse me. So you always got to think about the thermic effect of food when you think about a meal. Now, that seems reasonable. Oh yeah, you put more calories in to get more calories out, so you are burning more calories through the day by eating smaller meals. However, you've got to follow that logic when you go over to the big meals. So say we had, let's say, 6 meals of 300 calories. Okay, so if we look at the thermic effect of food, which is 10%, for every 300 calorie meal, we are burning 30 calories to get those 300 calories out. So we have a net of 270. If we have a bigger meal of 600 calories, well, we've still got to put the energy in to digest that food. And if that's 10%, we're putting in 60 calories, because 600 is 10% is 60. So we're putting 60 calories in to get those 600 out. Now, the thing is that over the course of the day, this evens out. So even though you've got 6 meals where you put 30 calories in to get the calories out, or you've got 3 meals of 600 calories where you put 60 calories in, the net is you've still had a thermic effect of food, a TEF level of 180 to get those 1800 calories out for the day. So it doesn't matter if you're having a bigger meal or a smaller meal, you're still over, on average, if you're keeping the calories the same over the day, you've still got to put the same energy in to get the energy out. So this theory about stoking the metabolism through the day doesn't actually hold much water when you carry it over to bigger meals. So there's the error with people, and people will always say, yes, you're firing at the metabolism. Yes, you are, but only in very small increments. And if you have a bigger meal, you're giving yourself a bigger metabolism boost. But that is really irrespective. It's still only 10% of the calories you're putting in. What really matters is how many calories you're putting in total in the day. Are you in a deficit or not? Yes or no. If you're in a deficit, yes, you're going to lose body fat. If you're not in a deficit, well, you're not going to lose body fat. It's pretty simple when it boils down to that. So now we've established it doesn't really matter if you have bigger or smaller meals in terms of the overall effect on fat loss. Potentially, what are the advantages of having bigger or smaller meals? Because if you follow me for a while, you'll know that it's not so much the calories that matter in terms of the long term, it's maintaining those calories, because we can all eat a calorie deficit or less food for 1 or 2 or 3 days. It's continuing that for the long term, to get the consistency of results over 3 to 4 months, is when you're really going to see the fat loss effects come on. So can smaller or bigger meals have an effect on that? So there's a few advantages to a smaller meal. So the smaller meals mean that you can eat often. So you can have up to 6 feedings in a day. Now that's good if you're, say, sat at a desk for most of the day, where you might have boredom and you might want to sit and pick at things. Now that's an advantage there, because you can sit and eat 6 meals in a day if you want to. There's not long between the meals. So if you have 6 meals over the day, you're probably only waiting maybe 2 to 3 hours between meals. So that's something that most of us can do. So you ain't getting to eat often, and it's not so much of a wait time. So you've only got to sort of keep your willpower up, so to speak, for 2 hours or so. But the disadvantages of this is that you've still got to split your meals in a calorie deficit over the day. So it's potential that those smaller meals are not going to be very big at all. So they might not fill you up. And the key thing here to remember is that whenever you eat food, your stomach stretches as a response to that food. Now, if you eat a very small meal, your stomach might not stretch enough to send the signal it needs to send to the brain to say, I'm full, stop eating. So even if you finish your meal, that meal might not be sizable enough to send that signal. So you might still be hungry after you finish your meal. And that's really important, because that can lead to extra snacking or going searching for other foods. Also, the stretch response, if it happens, might only be very minor, might only be very limited. So you might feel full for, say, 20 minutes, and then you're hungry again almost straight away. So then you've got to resist your hunger for 2 hours. Now, if you think about that over the course of, let's say, the whole day, you've got 6 of those. It's what I call the snack attack zone, where you're at risk of going into snacking because you've just eaten. Your hunger is abated for a short while, but then it dissipates, and then you get hunger coming back, and you've got to ride that out for 2 hours. So it's potentially 6 instances if you've got 6 small meals of that a day. Potentially, it's more chances for messing up. So there's that to think about as well. It also might be hard to fit 6 meals into your routine. If you have a busy day, if you've got to stop your routine and eat for 6 times in a day, that's potentially going to mess up your day if you've got, say, a busy schedule, if you have a lot of meetings, if you have a lot of clients. Now, the problem there is if you miss your meal and you're already hungry because you've dipped into the snack attack zone. If you're already hungry and you miss that meal, your hunger then gets more and more, and then when you actually get to your meal, you're so hungry, potentially you overeat. Or the other side of things is that you're so hungry you can't stop for your meal because that's in your little bag or your Tupperware or whatever, and you're on the road and you end up going to, say, McDonald's or something like that. So there's the issue as well. So you've got to be thinking about your day. Does it fit in with having 6 small meals? On the other side of things, bigger meals might be an advantage or a disadvantage. So the advantage of bigger meals, if you had 3 big meals in the day, is that you have more satisfying bigger meals. So you have that stretch response. It can be quite sizable, so it can send a signal to the body to say, and the brain to say, actually, we've had quite a big meal here, we don't need to eat for a little while. So it can mean that you're less hungry for, or you're hungry less in the day because you're fuller for longer in the day. So there's that consideration. It may be easier to fit 3 big meals into your day rather than 6 smaller meals. So if you, say, have breakfast, a dinner, and an evening meal, if those meals are quite sizable, then you might think, well, I can stop for breakfast because you might do that first thing in the morning. I can stop for lunch because most people in a working day stop for lunch. And when you get home in the evening, you can obviously sit down with your family and have a bigger meal. So potentially that fits in with a working life, a family life a little bit better. Now, in both of these situations, we still have to account for a few snacks, which you should be accounting for in your daily routine. So don't just have meals, make sure you portion some calories for snacks in the day. So you can have a few snacks through the day. So if you've got 6 meals, well, you've got to think about where your snacks are going to come there. You're not going to have 6 snacks as well. But if you have 3 big meals, potentially those snacks can be slotted in between. So it allows you maybe a more effective use of your calories and your food, that you can fit a snack in between the bigger meals. So 1 snack in between breakfast and lunch, and 1 snack in between lunch and your evening meal. So there's potential for the bigger meals to fit in better. And we've already established that it doesn't matter in terms of calories if you have big meals or small meals, but are the bigger meals providing you with a better use of your time, and the fact that you can downtime for say 10 minutes while you eat to have a little bit of break from work or whatever. Now this is just purely speculation. I mean, for me, when I was bodybuilding, I preferred 6 smaller meals through the day. That fit my schedule better. I was able to manufacture my day around that, because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to grow muscle. I was trying to get ready for bodybuilding shows. So I factored my life around 6 small meals in the day. Now that my life has changed and I'm running 2 businesses, I prefer to have 3 or maybe 4 bigger meals in the day rather than having to eat 6 times in the day, because I just haven't got the time for that. I haven't got the time to stop what I'm doing and sit down and eat, and then another hour or so later stop what I'm doing and eat. But then if that fits your day and that suits you better than having 3 or 4 bigger meals, well, that's what you need to do. But never think that you have to eat a certain amount of meals because that's the optimum for fat loss, because that just doesn't happen. If we're talking about muscle gain, it's a little bit different because you do want to eat protein every couple of hours. But if we're talking about fat loss, and fat loss is your main goal, then as long as you're eating your total protein over the day, that's fine. Make sure the meals fit your schedule rather than trying to fit your schedule around your meals, because that generally doesn't end very well for you. So I hope that sheds some light on this for you. If you like the video, please like, subscribe for future videos. And if there's someone who can benefit from watching this video, maybe someone in your office who's telling you that you should eat 6 small meals a day, maybe fire this video over to them, and maybe it'll help them understand it a little bit better. Because people only relay what they've been told, relay what they understand. They're generally not trying to be obtrusive. They just think their way is the best way. But when you look at a little bit of science for it, maybe it doesn't really matter. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.